Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a very warm welcome to the Chamber of Commerce Legend Suite here at Bouncy Football Club for this very special questions and answers session. We welcome everybody. Great to see a good turnout today as well. For those who don't know me, my name is Jason Thelwell. I'm the matchday host here in the Legend Suite, and you'll probably know me more for being the gobshite on the pitch at half-time, telling people to move the car because it's on bricks, or your wife's gone into labour, or at the last match of the season, can you please keep off the pitch? Like anybody's going to listen to that, but there you go. But it's great to have you all with us. Looking forward to a brand new season. Bit of a boring season last time, wasn't it? So we're hoping for a bit of a better outcome. I'm only kidding. Pleased to have you all here with us tonight. What I would say is the questions that we have come from yourselves, or you've been coming through the doors, also from social media as well. And if you haven't yet got a question in, the guys down here will be coming around during the Q&A session. If you do want to ask the guys a question, then now's your chance to do so. What I would say is keep your questions clean, because we are about to go live on YouTube, apparently. Whatever that means, but we are. So if you do have a question, keep it clean and no swearing. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce our honoured guests, shall we? First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our club custodian and owner, Mr. Patrick Cryne. Notice I didn't get anywhere near a round of applause than that, Patrick, but there you go. And a couple of, well, shall we say changes? Yeah, we'll say changes. First of all, our head of commercial is now our brand new chief executive, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Linton Brown. And he just managed to keep hold of his job in the summer. From caretaker, he's now officially our head coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heckingbottom. Okay, let's start off with the questions. First of all, from a number of people, let's aim this at Patrick, I guess. Can you explain the reasoning behind the new match ticket pricing structure?
Yeah.
Thank you for that easy one to open with. First thing I should say is an apology, because you've all come tonight thinking this is a free event, but it is now a Category A store. I think what we've tried to do down the years is make coming to Bouncy Football Club affordable. And certainly I think as far as season ticket holders are concerned, we've achieved that, in that we've had a freeze situation for many years, and we've got an offer now on the table that extends into next year. So I think from that perspective we've served season ticket holders pretty well. The issue for us at Bouncy Football Club is that the regulations say that you've got to charge everybody the same price. And what is clear is that some clubs intend to charge our fans visiting their grounds significant prices. And we have been trying to have dialogues with them to say, can we have reciprocal pricing at a level that's affordable to our fans? And some just simply say no, because they have a different perspective on how their club is funded. So they say their match day ticket attendees are fair game in relation to raising as much money as they possibly can. And our fans in that context, when they visit their grounds, are also fair game. What we've tried to do is to say, well, we'll negotiate with people to try and get the price down as low as possible. So if we can agree a price lower than last year with another side that's charged equivalently, then we will seek to do that. And we've done that already in some of the opening matches. So I think the opening match is in fact cheaper than last year's match day price. And a couple of the matches that we've already announced are at the same price as last year. But there are some clubs that are not interested in that reciprocal type arrangement. What we will be doing over the next few weeks is looking at how we can make the situation more affordable for matchday fans by introducing some appropriate scheme so that we can get the price down without inhibiting our ability to charge the equivalent price for visitors. So we would like to, if someone's proposing to charge our fans a lot of money, to be able to charge their fans a lot of money. And if you look at it, that makes absolute sense. So if we go to an away club and they charge our fans a heavy price, and they fill that 6,000 seater stands at cheap prices, because we have to have the same prices we charge our own fans, then that seems somewhat unfair. Because when our fans go to their grounds, they're going to take the money from our fans and spend it on their own club. Whereas we will have gone in the opposite direction, unless we take this stance that we're proposing, and that is to make it cheap for those 6,000 people to come. Now that to us doesn't seem right. But we recognise the issue. The issue is we're making it unaffordable for matchday fans in certain circumstances if we're charging the A-star price without having some arrangement in place to reduce the price on that day, whether it be a membership scheme or whether it be a flexible ticket pricing arrangement. And we'll be putting something of that type in place. How to work that through in a way that stands up to any rigorous testing by the regulatory authorities as to whether we've got discriminatory pricing against away fans. We need to make sure it's sound enough to pass any test that might be applied. So that's what the position is. I hope that people will understand the issues around funding of Barnsley Football Club. Let's take the situation of the first match, Ipswich. Ipswich as a club, for the last decade or more, have been in and around the mid or above mid part of the championship table. They have 20,000 crowds on average. We have 10. Last year we were down at below 10. We were down in the 9,000s, even with counting the people who attended Wembley. Yeah. They have the capacity that we don't have to recruit the players that they want, to hold on to the players that they feel they need to hold on to. They also have an owner, Marcus Evans, who I like very much. But if Marcus Evans took his wealth, translated it into £50 notes, created a tower on the pavement of those £50 notes, climbed to the top and threw himself off, he would kill himself. He would smash every bone in his body. If Patrick Cryne, however, I've not got to the end and you're laughing. This is sad. This bit is sad. If Patrick Cryne converted all his wealth to £50 notes on the pavement, climbed to the top and threw himself off, he wouldn't sprain his ankle. So, football finances is a delicate thing to manage. We're trying to manage in the best interest of the fans, because at the end of the day, this is a fans club first and foremost. This is not a billionaire's toy. This is a fans club. So I hope you'll bear with us while we try and find a way to make it easier for matchday fans.
Thank you, Patrick. I didn't catch any of that reply, so could you just answer that question again for us? Sorry, if you got any taxis booked, I'd do it to about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Thank you, Patrick. Just while we're on the subject of tickets, Linton, this is from Sam Ryder. What do you expect the impact of the £36, £30 band tickets to be for walk-up customers?
Well, first of all, can I just say it's an absolute honour and a privilege to be sat here as Chief Executive of this fantastic football club. It was an honour when Patrick offered me the opportunity to take the position, so I'd like to thank Patrick straight away. But as well as working for Patrick, I'm working for some fantastic fans and representing, serving you guys, so can I thank you all, and I will serve you very loyally and give everything I can to this position. Going back to the question with regard to the ticket price, and where is Sam? Is he here? Is he not here? As Patrick has just related to, we've looked at what we feel as a categorisation model that we're going to do them in 2 monthly blocks. By doing that, we will then give us the opportunity to talk to the other clubs and to try and get to a price point what we feel is befitting of what we feel what should be the price point. The other thing to take into consideration with these price points in an advance or on a match day price is that, again, Sky, when they choose the games what are going to be live, it's going to be difficult that when some of those fixtures are also going to change, whether it's Sundays or Saturday evening or Thursday nights, Friday nights, that will also affect things and price points. So what we wanted to do, instead of putting a fixed figure on these fixtures before the Sky change these fixtures, that we can do it to what we feel is a relative price point. So as Patrick has just explained, we are, and I am as Chief Executive, representing our fans. He's going out there to get the best possible prices. We are in the Championship. Some of the prices and the bands at the D is below what it was in Division 1. So we feel that we are determined to give you fans the best price point that we can, for a Championship football. But we've got to compete in the Championship now. We've got to realise that, Like you said, Patrick, my job is to try and make this football club as sustainable as possible. That isn't by saying that we're going to charge exorbitant prices, but to compete at this level, we're going to try and do it on a reciprocal way, but however, trying to engage with the other clubs to get the right price point. So we're confident we want to do that. We do listen to the fans, I would like to say, and I'm sure you'd all agree with Patrick previously, doing the fans forums and events like this. We do listen, and we do take on board what your wishes, and we do our utmost. So I assure you that that's what we're intending to do.
Just before we leave, ticket prices, a good question from Gary Marsden as we came in. Quite often there's empty seats, bottom tier of the West Stand, empty seats out and about. Would it not be better to introduce kid for £1, something like that? Try and get more kids involved and bring more people into the stadium?
Is that what I mean? Yeah. Well, as some of you know, there is areas where adults can, free kids places available. Also with the price points, we've not put up the prices for kids at £5 a game. So again, we've made that because we recognise the next generation of Barnsley fans is what we want to encourage. We do a lot of ticket initiatives in the community for the trust, but also I know there's some sponsors here what give out tickets to good causes and local schools. So we are very active on doing that and encouraging, for the next generation. So again, we've recognised that and not following line. We've kept the price points the same as of with the offer of having free kids places. So we're feeling the family areas. We're consistent with that.
Okay, Hecky, they've been quiet so far. Question for Paul then. You brought in quite a number of players to bolster the squad. Are we still looking to recruit even more? And I know there's a couple of questions on here about Ryan Kent and Lloyd Isgroves of this world. Can you shed some light in terms of, perhaps before the season starts, any more incomings into the squad?
Yeah, so the answer to that is simply we're always looking. So even when the window closes at the end of August, we'll be looking for the next ones in January. We will be actively looking now to bring more bodies in before the start of the season and then before the end of August. They have to be the right type of player, they have to be the right quality, and they have to be the right price. So last season we used the loan window really well. So I'll use an example. If we were trying to get a player now who played 100 games in the Championship, he was technically as good as what we wanted, he had the athletic capabilities of what we were after, and he was the age that we're after, we won't be able to compete, we'll be nowhere near. But we might be able to get them players in on loan again. So that's our sort of take on it in terms of loan players. They can be not our players, but hopefully we can market ourselves in a way that we become attractive to Premier League clubs in terms of helping to develop their best young talent. So that will always be the case. We'll be doing that now, trying to recruit players now. We'll probably be trying to recruit players again in January, depending on how many loans we've got, because we've got 5 active. But there's no point bringing a loan player in who's not going to, or in our mind, going to start or pushing for a starting place. It's just a waste of a loan. So we'll be trying to recruit loan players, 100%. And we'll also be trying to recruit as own permanent players. Again, we have to, if we're going to compete in this league and keep improving, we have to try and get players or buy players who have not reached the peak yet. So we have to recruit smartly and wisely and try and get players who we think have got the right qualities, but try and get them before anybody else, and that's the hard bit. Because again, if we're trying to compete for players who's already been and done it, or everyone's identified, chances are we're going to be priced out of the market by some other bigger championship club or a lower Premier League club. So we have to be really wise in what we're doing. But the answer to that is yeah. So we're actively looking for good, talented Premier League players who ideally, you think how many there are, there are a lot of Premier League players out there, young talent, there'd be a lot of Premier League clubs today, go take this lad, this lad, this lad, but they're not all good enough for the Championship. We have to be sure that they're ready for the Championship, whether that's they've been out in the Championship on loan before or in League One. We have to know a lot about them as characters as well and know that they're going to improve what we've got, just as we did last year in League One. What we may find then, so I'll use, say, players that we have had before, and then if we're going then to try and re-sign them players, a Lloyd Isgrove, a Fletch for example, we sometimes do that with a job developing them, that they come out of our price bracket. But that's not to say that we don't try, but that's just the reality of it. So we have to be clever in the permanents that we get, and we have to be clever in the loans.
I think with the development of Ashley Fletcher and Izzy himself, does that put us in a better sort of place to attract the Premier League youngsters? The Premier League clubs are obviously going to look at us and see what we did with Fletch, see what we did with Izzy, and say, yeah, let's you know, if 3 or 4 Championship clubs are after them, let's take them to Barnsley because we know they're going to nurture them. Is that probably fair to say?
Yeah, I think it is. I think I noticed we were sort of developing that type of reputation throughout my time doing it, so from the end of January onwards, through people approaching us, through agents approaching us. So it's not only the clubs that think Barnsley could be a good suit for our young players, the agents think that and the players themselves. 1, am I going to get an opportunity at Barnsley? 2, can they help me further my career? And 3, will the club let me go? Do you know what I mean? So that's sort of the questions we try and ask, we try and answer and make ourselves, you know, an attractive proposition for anyone in send along players out. The agents are a big one, what I spoke about, because they can help us get the player in here, because all of a sudden now we're in the Championship, we're competing against clubs with a lot more finance and people pay big fees for loans as well, which you won't believe. Again, that might price us out of some of the loan deals, but again what we have to rely on is his reputation as a club that helps to develop young talent, his reputation as a club that will give players a chance, and his reputation as a club that does help and look after these players, because we don't just bring them in and discard them. If they're not good, we will. They do stuff fit into the group, and the group's all about getting better and looking to develop. So from that aspect, I think we are an attractive club. But again, there's a lot of finance involved.
Just finally, Hecky, for now on the team. A question from Dean Rawson on Twitter. Are we looking at a defender, specifically left back, as he feels that we're limited with only AD Whites?
Yeah, we've got other players who can still cover that position. As I said, we're always looking for, all the time I've been in Chelsea, with the amount of meetings, myself, Patrick, it was Ben, now Linton, have about players, it's never ending. We're always discussing players. We've got hundreds of players in a database that we're constantly going through. And all the time I've been, if there's ever been an opportunity to bring a player in that will make us better, we've done it. And I think you can speak for us all here, we'll continue to do that. But it has to be, as I keep stressing, the right player at the right price who's going to make us better.
Okay, question for Patrick. This is from Danny Devlis. Isn't it better to offer a player coming to the end of a contract a 1-year extension with a release clause that suits both parties rather than them walking for free?
If we get specific, Conor Hourihane will not sign another contract with Barnsley. He loves me dearly, and I reciprocate that love. But he will not. Sam Winnell. He will not sign another contract with Barnsley. I don't love him as much as I love Conor Hourihane. I'm very picky. But they will not. And Hecky understands the logic of this because he's been a footballer. Conor Hourihane and Winnell, they believe they can play at a higher level in the football pyramid. I tend to agree with them. I think they can. And therefore, they will want to have the opportunity to do that. So why tie yourself to Barnsley? Why not just play the best you possibly can for Barnsley in order to get that move later to a club higher in the pyramid? Now that to me makes total sense. Now fans have a tendency to look at things as it's just a matter of money. Just offer them whatever they want in order to make them sign another contract. But it isn't like that. They want to play at the highest possible level during the course of their career, particularly if they're at the age that these guys are at, 24, 25. They believe that they've got another opportunity to get higher up the pyramid. So I would love them to sign, especially Conor Hourihane. I would love them to sign, but they will not. But I get this question all the time, why don't you just get them to sign up again? I would love to, especially Conor Hourihane. But it just will not happen. So we should move on in our thought processes. We should say, where is the replacement Conor Hourihane? Where is the replacement Sam Winnell? And get on with developing those or recruiting those and developing them in our organisation. And thank them for the contribution they made, particularly last season, and thank them for the contribution that they will make this season. Now I could talk on and on about my affection for Conor Hourihane, but I know about the taxes. I'll stop there.
We stopped. Talking about fees, here's one for Linton as Chief Executive now, Linton. Why do we always see quite a lot of an undisclosed fee? When we talk about transfers, what does undisclosed mean and why is it undisclosed?
Obviously with the recent signing of Tom Bradshaw, obviously Walsall wanted to announce it as an undisclosed fee. It does go on. That was down to them. They wished it as part of the deal what we did. I can't comment on why they wanted to undisclosed fee. It's not something what's just recent. It is common. So if you want me to add, I don't. Have we ever actually done a transfer where we said we would like it undisclosed? No. Just down to Walsall, but you don't have to talk to me about Walsall because not my favourite club, I've got to admit. Wasn't very forthcoming after we'd knocked them out, obviously, the playoffs and things. So Walsall are a strange club.
You just said that on the
I was just going to say, I can't remind you we're live on YouTube, Linton, so Ealing Walsall. Linton Brown. Mobile number is?
If they didn't know who I was now, they don't know though. No, going to the undisclosed fee, no comment. Okay?
Okay, fair dues. Eki, we asked about Ryan Kent earlier. I know you can't talk about specifics and so on and so forth, but there's been a lot of speculation in the press linking us with him and other clubs as well. Is there any truth in the rumour that potentially we may be interested and potentially he could be wearing a red shirt next season?
He's one of the ones we're looking for, yeah. He's that type of player that fits into what we want in terms of, like I spoke about, athletically can fit in, got good pace, good energy, technically very good player, been out and done well before on loan, so that's the type of player we're after, yeah. But as I've said before, they're the type of player that everybody's after, so you think it's easier going to get a loan simply because you're not putting a transfer fee, but there's other things involved now, especially as it's become such like a strategic way of developing players from the big Premier League clubs. There's all sorts of I'd say politics involved in it, but like I said, we can't settle for second best at loans either. We have to go and try and get the best we possibly can, so players of that ilk are the ones that we're after.
Ashley Fletcher obviously gone to West Ham, getting a shot in the Premier League. Any chance, and there again rumours, and rumours will fester all the time, but any chance that we may see Fletch back here on some form of loan from West Ham?
Well, getting to know Fletch and his family in his time here, I know that one of the reasons that he didn't stay at United was he couldn't guarantee him first team football, and that's not meaning at United. That was like, right, if you're not in our first team, this is the development pathway for you. I think that was one of the reasons that he left, so I would imagine that if Fletch is not forcing his way into the West Ham team, either pre-season or then in January, whatever it may be, that we'll have something agreed where he is going out on loan.
Okay, and I'll try and ask about Izzy again.
Same as, really. The thing is, like I said, so we've took Izzy and Fletch on loan. They've done really well for us. So we've benefited, we've got promoted, we've won a trophy. Their parent clubs have benefited, both in terms of one, a transfer fee for Fletch, the other is exposure for their player in Izzy, got a Welsh cap. But now all of a sudden they know sort of his value in terms of if he's not in their first team, what are they going to do with him? Are they going to look to sell him and get some money back? Are they going to look to loan him out again? Because they're still thinking of keeping him involved. So whenever it's that sort of situation with Izzy, everything's down to Southampton. What's their plan for him? They'll either want to cash in and get some money for him, or if they think he's still got a future there, then they might look to loan him out of him.
Okay, just before we leave team affairs for the moment, pre-season gone really well, been a great success so far. I guess with all due respect to the teams that we have played, the big matches now start: Everton, Hull City and then Peterborough. How have you found pre-season?
It's gone really well, to be honest. I am always picky. So we're looking at performances, what can we do better next time, what needs to improve. One thing I have noticed is all our lads that we had last year have come back really sharp. One of the things me and Patrick spoke about in the summer was the importance of keeping our players together and the staff together. We'd come so far and got to know each other, and the lads have got to understand the way we wanted to play and what it took to play that way, the energy, the intensity and what was demanded of them with and without the ball. So you can imagine now, we've kept those players together. So I'm not starting from scratch with a new group of players. You know, there was 6, 7 of our starters who know exactly what's required of them. I can actually give them a bit more to do now, a bit more responsibility, and they can help to get that message across to the new players. So I think the boys that we had last year have actually gone up another level. Lots of reasons: the excitement, the adrenaline, the confidence they took from last season. Also the age that they're at, which is our policy to recruit at that sort of age, but hopefully they can keep getting better. I think they're now coming into those peak years like Patrick spoke about, so there's lots of reasons why they're continuing to improve. And anyone we bring in has to get up to that standard and beyond if we're gonna, we're gonna keep improving as a team.
Okay. Question from Gaz Selby, and there's always a lot of questions on here, not just from Gaz but from a lot of other people. Regarding the scoreboard. Always people ask about the scoreboard, but they are black bulbs in there. That's what they are. You think they're out, but they're not. Before I'm going to hand it to Patrick or Linton, I guess, you just have a look around at the scoreboard and have a look at some of the messages that's on there.
Yeah, it's pretty. End of an era. Oh! We're going back to A, B, C, D, E. How old am I?
And there is a message on there, and I think it's going to come round in a sec, that says R.I.P. So, Patrick, Linton, scoreboard.
Personally, I think it's a great tragedy that there is this clamour to remove part of our tradition in favour of modernity. I'm ashamed of you all.
Linton, perhaps you can elaborate on what's to come.
Yes, it is a bit of a sad evening as far as not this Q&A, obviously. I said that wrong, Patrick.
Back to head of commercial on Monday.
Yes, there's some special messages going on the screen over there on the scoreboard. I'm delighted to confirm we will be having for our 2016-17 Championship season a new scoreboard. So, obviously it's been a topic which has been ongoing for many times during my time at the football club, and I'm sure I'm beyond, but we're discussions. There's been several issues over with planning and the structure, etc., etc. But delighted we've now got a scoreboard coming from Slowboat from China, which will be arriving very, very shortly. We're delighted. We obviously knew that it was going to be a sad moment for you guys when you realised that scoreboard was going. It's actually, the guys have come up, we're actually going to unscrew the light bulbs and get the place signed, and we're going to sell them for £1,000 a piece. As a memento, so if anybody would like to know, email me if anybody would like to purchase one of those light bulbs. But no, we are getting a new scoreboard, and it will change things, and we're very excited for the new season. So yes, new scoreboard. We're on.
So go and take your photographs of that one.
If we get a tweet now saying we don't want a new scoreboard,
From me.
So yeah.
Flog it to Walsall.
For an undisclosed fee.
Glad rehearsals went well. Patrick, this is one from East and Red. Have Bristol City actually bid for any of our players, or are they just rumours?
Have Bristol City? Yes.
Next question.
Yes. They seem to be partial to that Morton chap. Understandable. But the answers have been no. I mean, we are not interested in selling anyone to Bristol City.
Just while we're talking about our old friend in Bristol, Tommy Wright possibly turned down a move to Bristol. Any rumours in that? Perhaps Eki or Patrick or whoever?
I think Tommy had a lot of offers, didn't he? To go to a number of places. I'm sure that one might have been to go to Bristol City, because that would be understandable. But I think his heart and mind was with us, and he's made the right decision in terms of the contribution he can make for us from our perspective, and I think he's made the right decision from his own perspective. I think it's going to be an extension of a happy relationship.
And I guess same topic, has a certain Mr. Mansford
What's your about now?
has a certain Mr. Mansford been back for any of our players yet?
Mr. Mansford, no, he hasn't. I had to try and think who he was then for a minute. But no, he hasn't.
I suppose, well, we're on the subject of Ben, and one of the questions that we've got here, and it's from, I'll tell you, Neil Downs. Did Ben give any warning before he went to Leeds, or was it just up and out up the M1?
I tell you, he would love to know that we're talking about him. But no, I had no clue, and I'm quite over that. It's not quite the same as if Conor were around.
Nobody's about me. This is going to go global.
I'm just wondering what's going to be in the Bouncy Chronicle tomorrow morning.
Can I just ask the media, has Conor tweeted anything yet? Nothing.
Yeah, it says, I love you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Let's get back to play matters then. Hecky, Richard Stevenson asked a question. What was the reason behind letting George Williams go?
So, George was offered a contract. A few weeks left into the season. I'm not going to all the details. No one needs to know that stuff. But he was offered a contract, didn't sign it. In the summer, we were still speaking to him, still didn't sign it. In terms of football, he wanted more money. I was explaining his position and the fact that we're still going to keep recruiting, so he weren't guaranteed a first team place. Still didn't sign it, and then we decided to look elsewhere.
Okay, fair point. Linton, question from Matchday Drinkers. Do we have any indication or reassurances that away game prices for BFC will not be OTT? And a couple of rumours here that both Aston Villa and Sheffield Wednesday will be asking for £49 per person.
What that they're going to charge our fans there? I'm still. I haven't spoke to Chef Wednesday about what they amount, but they've intimated with some discussions that I don't think they care what they're charging down there at this moment in time. But it is something that's ongoing, as I say, with all the clubs in the Championship, is to try and get them price points, like we said earlier. It's difficult. We're looking after Bouncy Football Club and Bouncy fans. Obviously they're looking after their own interests, which obviously we're appealing to them to say, look, can we discuss this? But we are endeavouring to do that. But I'm doing my utmost as chief executive and representative of Bouncy Football Club to do that. Yeah.
Okay, and I guess if you put your old head of commercial hat on, the question here is why always does it seem that when people want to purchase tops, kits from the Red Superstore, we're always out of stock?
It's funny, Joe, because Patrick asked me the same question this afternoon. Seriously, the shirts, what we've got now, we were discussing it earlier. If you all recall, we won this fantastic trophy at Wembley. We launched a new kit, so we wore that at Wembley. The sales have just been absolutely amazing, the home shirts. And we obviously immediately restocked with those and ordered some more. The away shirt, and you all say I've seen some people with the away shirts and they say me, unbelievable, fantastic sales. We've ordered these kits 9-12 months in advance. That's how much we've Puma. You wouldn't believe that, we're actually seeing 17-18 cads now for what our shirts are going to be. We do it that far in advance, and we are absolutely thrilled and delighted with you fans buying the replica shirts and things. We are ongoing with getting these deliveries and bringing them forward to meet demand. We've got some more deliveries August, September. It's the sheer demand. We sit down in 9 months, 12 months and try and predict what sort of stock levels. But I'm sure you've seen the shirts have been fantastic this year. The training wear, we're reordering the training wear because it's just flying off the shelves. This is part of the success, so we are actively ongoing of getting more deliveries, more orders so we can replenish. So I assure you that I will take full responsibility for that the team are working extremely hard on the retail side to get some more stock in. But again, thank you. We've just been, which is, again, there's a frustration with some fans that we did go out on the website and say, look, we knew stocks the shirts were flying off, please buy them now, don't be disappointed because we're stock level, and then we'll get some more in. We try and communicate these messages, and as I say, if we're at Wembley and we wore the kit, so actually, we sold, I think, nearly 2,000 for the Wembley final. So, we've now then reordered now to cover that, what we've done early. So it's fantastic for us, but yeah, we are actively ongoing in something that we'll definitely focus on.
Okay, and I guess just on a commercial point of view from Carl Whittaker, a question for Linton. Half-time entertainment, is there any chance of something different? I'll take that personally, thank you.
If I could actually say with your performance earlier on, Jason, it's been nice knowing you the way you've been going. We said, it's a strange one. I mean, feedback. I get, I speak to many fans, sponsors and fans who I recognise in the room. It's a collective. I have some fans would say, we love what we do at half time, please don't change it. And then I speak to another fan, we'd like to have a change. Yes, Rob and the team, marketing team, we're looking to try and change things, but we try and do the things with the kids and encourage with the flag bearers and all the mascot and the community side to do that and recognise, we'd love to do other things. So we are looking to change things, but we do have fans what we do like to see the kids and enjoying themselves at Oakwell at half time, but we will be. So yeah, watch this space.
And a question here, would the stadium announcer be getting the championship fee? It's a question in accordance with other championship PA announcers.
Yeah, the new one will be getting the best. An undisclosed fee.
Right, moving on. George Myers, I guess for, well, all three really. Patrick, perhaps. What's your future vision for Bouncy Football Club?
I think I would like to, well, I know I would like to see us establish ourselves in the Championship. That will be a serious challenge. And I think what we've had to seek to do is to put in place new systems for recruitment, new systems for developing our players. We're going through a process at the moment of completely revamping the academy in terms of its structure, because we have to get the edge over our competitors, because we can't outmuscle them in terms of finance. Therefore we've got to be cleverer in doing the things that we do than they are. Otherwise we won't survive or thrive in the Championship. So I suppose I'm not looking much further forward than setting ourselves up so that we can be competitive in this division. I think it's too big an ask of Paul to say, please get us into the Premiership. That's not to say that it's not possible, because if you look at sides that have got to the Premiership in the past, they've done it by being cuter than the rest and doing things better. And sometimes you can get a discipline out of operating through a clear budget, rather than being extravagant and wasteful in the process. But if you look at, Blackpool got there, Burnley have got there. So, you can still find a path through if you're clever enough to do that. And, that ultimately will be my dream. But I think in the first instance, we've got to say, let's try and hang on in there this season and get stronger with each successive season and get a body of players together that can have the motivation, because that's a very important thing. Because I think towards the end of last season, what got us through was the motivation to win. People were playing for something. They were playing for personal pride. They were playing for their teammates, and they were playing ultimately towards the end for their fans. So, if we can get that motivated group of players together with the capability of getting better with each successive year, then I think that would be my first and foremost objective, and the opportunity to carry on having that dream that we might get back to the Premiership.
Okay, and I guess following on from that question from Ian Lodge for Hecky, what would you consider to be a successful season this year?
Yeah, staying up, definitely. If I link into what Patrick just said there, so for me it's, and I'm really big on this, it echoes a lot of things Patrick just said. For me, knowing the club, knowing the town and loving the place, it's like we have to look to overachieve, simple as that. And it's not just, and I'm talking about every facet of the football club here, from the commercial marketing, the playing side of it, the academy, every single department has to strive to overachieve. And then what leads that, in my opinion, is how we want to play. So I'm fascinated by the football teams that do things that they shouldn't do. So everyone goes on about Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich and trying to copy them, but that's just not for me. It's just a silly way to think about it. We've got the best players, the most money, and they should win everything, but yet they don't. So the ones who beat them are the ones that fascinate me. So Atletico Madrid's, Borussia Dortmund, and they were doing it. And what do? They've got a real clear plan. They've got a power and a vision and a belief in what they do. And then they get everything aligned of how they want to play on the pitch. So if any football fans in here now, you could tell me how each of those teams play or what they're renowned for. And that style, that method, they recruit to play that way. They get the fans on board to play that way. They recruit staff and management to play that way. And it just adds more and more power and more belief into what they do, and ultimately then they can overachieve and achieve great things, and that's what we have to do. And I think we sort of started on the process, and there were bumps along the way, don't get me wrong, but you have to stick by it, you have to understand what you're doing. It's not just us, it's the fans as well. I think you'll agree now that you see a team who crosses the white line and gives everything, and that should be, first and foremost what we do. Then we've got a team that looks to score goals, and they'll also put the body on the line to stop goals. So yeah, we might win 3-4-0, but then we'll also win 1-0 when we played shocking, and that's like, again, that's a mentality. So it's the winning mentality Patrick's on about. And everything adds together to overachieve and become and do something special, and we did that last season. But it's going to be twice as hard this season. So we have to just stick with what we know, get better at it, take the bumps along the way, take the knocks, but just keep driving forward. And it might be a couple of steps back to then go a few more forward. But you know, we're all prepared for it and we all understand it. And as long as everyone's together, from everyone who works at the club to everyone who buys a ticket, we will keep doing it. We will keep going forward.
I think that plan point is critical. In that for last season and part of the season previously, for the first time we actually sat down and set out a plan, and he was really describing how we wanted to play as a football team. And in many respects, it was gathering together the views of the fans. The fans want to play two up front. They want to play with wingers. They want full-backs that will overlap with the wingers. They want defenders who can carry the ball out. They want midfielders who get up and beyond the strikers to create overloads in the other side's third. So we kind of documented how exactly we wanted to play, and then you can organise behind doing that. Now the real test for us was in that long losing spell last season, because if you change the manager, you dump the plan as well, because the manager was part of the formulation of that plan. So Lee Johnson did us a service in many respects. He helped us formulate that plan, not alone, but you know, people like Paul were involved in that process. Because what Paul was doing was actually analysing how you can win a game if you play in accordance with the philosophy, and what that meant in terms of how you approach the opposition and how you decided to press them and when you decided to press them, because you can't press for 90 minutes of the game. So we got all these things kind of worked out. And I was very, very close to abandoning it all after Altrincham. Yeah, and who wouldn't? But then I had to make a decision, do I still believe in the plan? Because if I still believe in the plan, then we have to continue with the manager. So people say, why did you keep Lee Johnson after that run? Well, I didn't keep Lee Johnson, I kept the plan. And then when Lee went, because everybody was organised behind the plan, it was, you know, easy to say, heck, carry on, and know that the plan will be protected and developed in his custodianship of that plan. So, you know, we did that. The plan is important. And going forward, it's equally important that we don't abandon that plan if we have a setback. Because that plan sets out our only way to be successful against opposition, which is much better funded than ourselves. And Paul's exactly right. I talked about Marcus Evans earlier. He really is a good guy. He's got lots of money. But he hasn't managed to turn all his advantages, 20,000 crowns, financial capacity, a really good manager, experienced manager. He hasn't managed to turn that into getting in the top six for several years. And he's never managed to achieve his objective of getting into the Premiership. I believe with our plan, if he gave us his money, so, as soon as I find that Tibetan yak billionaire, we'll be back in the Premiership.
Actually, tell you what, Hecky, you just mentioned there, Patrick, that if the plan goes belly up, Hecky's safe. It's on YouTube. We've got it on camera. Don't you worry about your job. It's safe. You mentioned earlier on, Hecky, there about an international sort of feel, the Atletico Madrids, the Barcelonas, and so on. I guess this leads into a question from Michael White. If Norman Hunter or Billy Bremner were playing today, what colour boots do you think they'd wear? Pink or lime green or yellow? And is this a fad? A little bit strange. More Lionel Blair than Lionel Messi, is what Michael has said. I guess he's relating to the Euros.
You would only ever see their studs, wouldn't you, those two?
I would, yeah. Is that related to me?
Sponsorship on the soles, aren't they? Yeah. I didn't get that question. What was it? You were commenting on the rules?
It was a shit question anyway. Sorry, Michael, if you're in the... I'm only kidding. No, he was talking about the colour of the boots. I mean, in your day, would you ever play in pink, fluorescent, lime green boots?
I don't think there's any black ones now. Coaches wear black boots, that's it, I think. No, it's just part of it, isn't it? Not only that, they've got socks attached to them and all sorts now. And yeah, not fucking...
Old school.
Kevin Herring has sent us a question. Due to the alterations in the rules for loan transfers, does that mean we'll be looking to carry a larger squad this season?
Not really. In an ideal world, so for me, in an ideal world, work with smaller numbers but more quality. We need to have cover in each position, of course we do, so you can't go into the season with just one player who's a recognised centre-back, for example. You need cover because you can't do anything about it till January, so that's a big difference. But it's just important that you get the quality right. And make sure you've got cover everywhere else, because don't forget, if you are carrying a squad that's too big, you've got more unhappy players as well. And a big part of our success was, as Patrick said, people playing for what they believed in. And of course they want their individual success, of course they do, but that was a motivated group of players there that were fighting and playing for each other. And you have to be careful how you sort of manage that and harness that. It takes a lot of developing, but it's easy to get rid of. So it's something that we'll be big on. Like I said, the main thing was keeping the players, keeping the staff. Tom was a great signing for us. So we're keeping that momentum, that little bit of magic that we had. But you have to be careful to keep it going forward. So like I said, it's hard to create, but it's easy to get rid of. So numbers are important and the quality of players are important.
Not sure who wants to answer this one. Question from Jed. What will happen to our share of the money if Manchester City buy John Stones?
That's my question, man.
Is it? No, it says here Patrick Cryne, but go on, Hecky, you can answer it.
No, I mean, I wrote it.
Oh, yeah. So, Patrick, question for Paul Heckingbottom.
The thing that confused me was the use of the word "our." Sorry, that's not enough.
Carry on.
If you look at our football club, I've been in charge for 14 years. Didn't get a long service award. Didn't get a testimonial like Bobby Hassel after 10 years. Just got 14 years of grief. In all that 14 years, we only made a profit once. Once. And that's when we sold the guy who must not be named. That was the only year we ever made a profit. Now, the issue for me is how you transition from being where we are, where we never make any money, we lose money. And last year, for example, phenomenally successful, wasn't it? 2 trophies, 2 trips to Wembley. We will lose £1 million on that year. Because we think that going to Wembley means that we're going to earn lots of money, but we don't, because it all goes to staging costs, to the FA for their £800 million stadium loan repayment. So what I want to do is I want to do something sensible, which is to use the money to secure the future of the football club, to create a strong balance sheet. The last thing I think we should do is go out and just spend it. Because money shouldn't burn a hole in your pocket, that's what my mother used to say. So we should stick the money in the balance sheet and carry on doing sensible things. Otherwise we'll do stupid things, and then we'll find ourselves back in Quay Street when we've jacked up our cost structure on the basis of we got one windfall 1 year from one player who must not be named. So, I don't have any great, he knows he's not getting it.
That's why I asked the question.
And he knows he's not getting it. I can't say the same for myself. No, just kidding.
One from Aaron Rodriguez from Twitter, should I say. I guess Linton, chief exec, this one. We've tackled the issue about the scoreboard and replacing that, which is great. When are we replacing the West Stand with a safer and more fan-friendly stand? From Aaron on Twitter.
Well, it's got a bit of a go with that one, hasn't it? We are actually looking at the West Stand, or we have been for the last few weeks, and looking at what we can do. Obviously, we've got some clubs who have got large followings over the scene, so it's something what we are looking at. I haven't got anything concrete to say as far as what stage we're at with that, but it is something we're looking at definitely for the development moving forward, and obviously maintaining championship status. So yeah, there is things in mind. We're having discussions. So yeah, it's something what we're working on.
I suppose it's part of our culture, isn't it? To look out there and see that old stand, which I guess kind of leads on to another question in terms of the stadium itself. It's always going to be Oakwell, ever, but there's always perhaps going to be a time where, as a lot of grounds are, the Emirates Stadium and so on and so forth, and is the potential that the name of Oakwell could change or even disappear?
I mean, like the Diet Coke stadium. To me, I don't think that some things shouldn't be bought and sold. And I think, with my passing, someone else may, take a different point of view. But from my perspective, it's difficult with the stadium. I think within the stadium, we should promote the names of those who sponsor us. We should do whatever we can to help them. But the stadium as a whole, the stadium was put here by the Reverend Tiverton Preedy. It was put on this site because he managed to persuade local businessmen to give him this piece of land. So to me, it's a little hallowed. So the idea that we would, turn it into the Diet Coke Oakwell Stadium, to me, it doesn't kind of feel right. But I suppose if the money was enough, we might have a referendum.
We vote Brexit. Yeah. What for Hecky? You talked about perhaps the ups and downs of next season. It's not going to be plain sailing. We're going to have some good times and bad. But question from Mick Derbyshire: have we got the characters to turn the team around if we go on a bad run due to the squad being so young?
Yeah, I believe we have got the characters, but that's probably the most important job and task this year. So forget the tactics, forget the training. I believe we'll get that right, but sometimes we might give what we think is our best performance and still come up short, because we're playing against somebody with a £70 million budget and they might have 3 bits of brilliance and beat us 3-2. So we have to be realistic and say that. So what comes with that is the belief that, yeah, we might have done everything right for 3 games in a row and not got a win, but we have to believe that next game, that 4th game, we do the same things, we're going to get the win. So yeah, it's a big part that we're speaking about it regularly, that we know what we're about, and we know we'll surprise some teams. Everybody over there is looking forward to it, you can see already. Do you know what I mean? I'd be buzzing if the season started Saturday. But we have to go through the process of pre-season and make sure everyone's physically ready and mentally prepared, but we're just chomping at the bit. So we know we'll catch some teams out, but we have to be prepared that sometimes we know that's not going to be good enough. And that's when we need everyone's, like I said, everyone's bought into the process, from the owner right the way down to the youngest fan who's just bought a season ticket. And we know we've got challenges ahead, but enjoy it. We're going to enjoy it. So every game's going to be a battle. Every point's going to be hard fought for, and that's why it'll feel really sweet to only are getting the wins.
I suppose anything's possible, certainly after last season where we were in December in comparison to where we finished. Do you kind of look at some of the teams in the Championship this season, and who would you kind of sort of think are probably the ones that are going to be top 2 playoffs? You look at the kind of Newcastles and Villas that have come down, but their squads are probably nowhere near what they were in the Premier League.
No, but they've still got the resources and the budgets to go and spend. I think Newcastle will be up there 100%. Rafa Benitez wouldn't have stayed there if he didn't have a big war chest and belief that he could get out of the league. Nigel Pearson's done it before with Derby, another big spending club with big budget, so they'll be right up there. And for me, Norwich have done it before, so I won't be surprised if it's 2 out of those 3 who are, automatic. And then maybe the usuals are scrapping it out for the playoffs.
Okay, just before we sort of round off, there are all the questions done, you'll be glad to know. Is there anybody in the room that wants to ask a question that we've not necessarily covered? Yes, sir.
Do you think like Sir Conahuri and not signing contracts sort of breaks our blueprint of buying young players and developing them into assets?
No, I don't actually. I think what we're saying is the amount that we invest in buying a player, do we get a return for it? And in terms of Conor Hourihane, we will get a return in terms of the contribution he's made on the pitch, the goals he scored, the assists, the drive he's shown, and ambition he's shown. So I'm not really worried that we don't get money for him at the end of the day. If you look at what we're seeking to do, what our model relies on, it relies on finding the next generation of players, so that when some fall off the conveyor belt, either because they've run out of their contract or you've decided to sell them, there's somebody else to come along. Because I think what you tend to find is a lot of clubs will... it was interesting, the other day I saw on the BBS, someone said, so we're sort of like Peterborough. I don't know whether people saw that. Well, we're not like Peterborough, otherwise we'd be in Division 1, wouldn't we? They sold some very good players from their team and became weaker as a consequence. So we're not doing that. We're seeking to get a return on our investment in players through the contribution they make on the pitch. If we get offers for them, then of course we have to have a look at those, but in the context of how much will it cost us to replace the player that we're losing with an equivalent or better player. And often you find that, what would be the value of a Winnall or a Mawson or a Hourihane? From point of view of our value is we would need to get more than the cost of replacing them. And it's actually difficult to see how we could do that, because we'd be having to buy a finished product, which is what Conor Hourihane is and the others are. What we have got to do is to buy those younger players, develop them, take them along the conveyor belt when they drop off, be satisfied that we got a return on the investment by making a good decision at the beginning. Now, what you will see is us bringing a lot of players in at the beginning of the process, and some falling by the wayside or being recycled back into a lower league. And that isn't because we made an error, it's because we made an investment, we were able to recycle the players so we didn't lose anything, and had they been able to develop, we got the full value from that. So I think that's how our model works. We've got to keep bringing people in at the beginning, taking them through the development process, getting full value from them on the pitch. And if we don't get anything for them at the end of the day, so be it. You look at what we paid for Conor Hourihane, you look at what we paid for Scowen, you look at what we paid for Sam Winnall. You look at what we paid for Mawson, I don't know if that was undisclosed, was it?
I think it may well have been.
But that is a tiny sum, far less than the cost of your house. All right, let me put it in that context. And look at the contribution we're getting from it. So it's about bringing those people in and taking them through the process, allowing them to go at the end of the day with no fee, and not seeing that as somehow a failure. Let them go with no fee, as long as they've contributed along the time that they've been with us.
Yeah, can I put a bit on
Yeah,
that?
of course.
Yeah, I think that's really important for everyone to get that. Patrick made a point there, and this is the most important for me. When you're speaking about value, it's the value to the team. So what are they bringing to the team? So those players have got us a promotion. Yeah, those players have got promotion. There's nothing saying they've gone at the end of the year. They've played their way by some good performances into this position here now, where they've got a year left in the contract, been offered a new one, don't want to sign it yet because I want to see what's there at the end of the season. They've got that right. That's what Adam Hamel did last year. So he played his way to the end of the season when lots of clubs were fighting over him. He scored 2 great Wembley goals, helped us get promotion, and we ended up keeping him because he still loves the club, still wants to play for us. We've paid something that we're comfortable with, and he's decided to stay. So there's no one saying that they're all going, but they've played themselves into that position where they can go and earn the most money they possibly can at the end of the contract. It might be with us, it might not be with us. But what we will get is a motivated player out on that pitch for this season, and that's how we get the value out of it. Whether they go or not, at the end, it's a different matter.
Thank you. Any other questions for the chaps? Yes, sir.
I think we've seen one or two players, and one you just mentioned in particular, who think grass is greener on the other side. But once they leave this club, they don't do half as well. A lot of players fit into a side, and the side plays well, but they're not individually better when they go to another club.
Yeah, well,
Amelsman one in particular, who thought he was it in the big time.
yeah, but that's the beauty of the team, and that's why the team always comes first. I say it to ours all the time. The team's more important than anyone here. The team is more important because that's where you're judged. That's where you're judged. That's what makes a club the money. That's what people come to pay and see. So it's the team that's more important than anybody. I say it all the time in the dressing room, than me, than the captain, whoever it may be. And to judge that point, so how many people are coming to buy our players in December when we're bottom of the league? You know what I mean? Everyone's saying how bad they are. Those same players get us promoted, and now everyone's chasing after them.
Yeah.
So each one of them has helped each other to become a successful team. So just gelling them together, giving them the guidance, giving them that winning mentality, they can get the benefit from it now as well as a football club. So they're both linked in. The questions, they were worth nothing according to everybody else. We believed in them, we recruited them, we knew they could be a good side. Once they're getting the results as a team, the club benefit from it, and potentially the players can benefit from it. So you sort of answered both questions there like that.
Okay, thank you. Any other?
Costing me a barbecue.
Yes, sir, the chap with the blue one, with the glasses, yeah.
We've developed some good defenders, but what are we going to change with the junior teams and the academy teams, etc., so we start to develop more midfield and attacking players?
Yeah, I'm big on this. So the country, though, you see trends. So my background was obviously working with youth and in this football club, but also around the country, big interest in it. And you see trends. So where we are at the minute was a trend in our academy, playing out from the back, pass. So your defenders get all the ball, your forwards get very little of it, or only one kind of service, which is always into feet. That's not necessarily mirrored into how you get and win games in the Football League. So without really realising it, we were only set up to develop defenders. That's changing now, but it's a cycle, it's a process. Just like, you know, a national team, all the players now are round about their players who grew up in an era when it was all about creativity this and creativity that. You know what I mean? There's so many players now, so the number 10's, what's the number 10? It's just someone who don't want to run back and make tackles. and that's a phase, that's a cycle, and we'll go through them again. You know what I mean? So, answer to your question, just because how they've been developed, how they've been coached, been noticed. It's a long process. You can't just all of a sudden tell someone, right, but now you have to do this. You know what I mean? And you're undoing 12 years of learning or whatever. So yeah, it's something that, you know, we spoke about quite a bit on that. It's you have to get the balance right, and the more you can get a youth team to mirror how you want to play on the grass first team level, the easier it's going to be.
Okay, thank you. Chap with the red shirt on, yep.
I know your prime focus of like pre-season friendlies has been like fitness and playing to a system. But in terms of like promoting the club and getting bums on seats for that season, do you think maybe more high-profile friendlies, if you get like say a foreign club or whatever, and try and fill out well and show the people that don't attend the matches, you know, what they're missing, sort of thing?
Yeah, that's sort of the idea with Everton and Hull, you know, getting the Premier League clubs in. You won't believe some of the fees that foreign clubs demand, even though they might be over here on a pre-season tour. They demand a fee to come and play, and then it's costing us to show a friendly off over. So, you know what I mean? And is that game really going to be beneficial for us beating Ipswich on the Saturday? You know what I mean? That's our focus. So we've done well. We've got 2 Premier League teams here at Oldwell. They're going to be big games. They're as big as you can get, really. So I guarantee we'll have more watching Everton than we would if we'd have got I don't know, Sevilla or someone like that. It's the big fixtures what we've got.
Okay, just take one more if we can. Chap right at the back with the baseball cap on.
I was just going to say, could you repeat the question?
Right from the beginning.
No, you're all right. Go on. Repeat the question.
I forgot now.
We were talking about the quality of opposition in the pre-season friendlies. Okay. Yeah, one more. Anybody? We'll take one more. Yeah, sorry, chap.
The official attendance, the official capacity around is just...
Hang on a second. Let me do this so these guys at the back can hear you.
Our official capacity is just over 23,000, but how many will the police actually let us have in next season? Because it's been difficult, hasn't it, in the past to actually, getting the numbers in. They restrict the number we're allowed to have, don't they?
Linton, probably.
There's certain fixtures where we get intelligence from the police of what they're expecting. So yeah, capacity's out there, but hopefully we won't have that and then restrictions this season moving forward. One thing I don't know if you've noticed with the fixture list, where we're all waiting for the fixtures to come out. One of the new visions of the Football League is that attendances for midweek games were falling. I don't know if you know that from personal experience. So what they've tried to do with the fixture list, they've tried to make some marquee games midweek. So if you have a look at the fixtures, what you would say some of Newcastle and Aston Villa are here at Oakwell on a Tuesday evening. So that in itself brings complications from when it being on a Saturday. That already intelligence that what we've received, that intensity of Newcastle and Villa are going to bring big numbers. So with that, we've got to prepare for that, and obviously we have to make sure that we can facilitate those numbers. And it certainly brings different challenges to us as a club operationally from a Tuesday from a Saturday, as you can imagine. People coming from work and the roads and things. So it does increase costs for us, not just the policing, but overall operationally for these. But the Football League have made that decision. So, but as far as the capacity, we want Oakwell bouncing this season. I'm sure with the way the team got, we'll be ready for the challenges ahead. We want to make this an intimidating atmosphere, and that's when you guys come in. The fans are passionate and behind the team and believe in what we're doing. And I think it's really important that for us to get that message out, we are all in this together. I feel that, and I'm sure you guys, if you will agree, we've got something special going on here. We have got a plan. We have got players who we've recruited, who we think we've recruited very well so far, who want to play for Barnsley Football Club, who want to be here, who want to represent you, the fans, the town and this football club. And that's really, really important. They're buying in, to what we're all about. Other clubs like Hecky and Patrick have said earlier, clubs want to send the players on loan because they like what we're doing. We've got an identity, we've got a DNA, and it's really exciting. Look, we're going to have some challenges, aren't we? We all know that. We're going in a league where there's some big clubs there with big wage, but we know that. We're going to go in there and we're going to have a real good go, and we're going to maintain our championship status together.
Okay, just rounding off perhaps well, first of all for Linton as Chief Exec, message for our season ticket holders.
Fantastic support. We want everybody to be part of this. We do, the message is out there, we want as many season pass holders as we can. We're looking at other things as well for those who can't commit to that season pass, but we've got the biggest team vote with the open day. So I know there's some guys who want to know what we're in that for. We want to beat the record what we had. Get yourselves here for the open day. You've got all the new signings coming in. Get your chance to get their autographs, interviews, see the players. Hecky, the boys after playing on Saturday. We're all in this together, like I've just said. We want everybody to be part of this, and I'm sure it's going to be an exciting season. But again, thank you to the fans already with what you've done, whether it's tickets, merchandise. We've got, I know in the room we have got some sponsors I recognise here. The sponsors have been amazing, as the fans, the family, like Patrick said, commercial, what you've got here. We've had new companies, national companies wanting to be part of Barnsley Football Club now. No, they have to wait. We've got a family here, we've got sponsors who've been here for the last few seasons, whether in Division 1 or whatever. We know that blueprint is what it's all about, is what we've got already, and we intend that's how we're going to go moving forward. So thank you again for your support, and as Chief Exec, I will represent you out there moving forward this season.
Okay, Hecky, as a Royston lad, by Christ, you're living the dream, aren't you?
All right, it has. Just something for me, the family, So when we signed Tom Bradshaw, we got him in and I'm chatting with him, showing him round, and all he could speak about was the Walsall game at home when we blew them away, and he said their players were scared stiff, and that's the sort of atmosphere we want every game. I mean, amount of games I've been here and it's not been an atmosphere like that. Second half, absolutely bouncing, and if you can intimidate players like that, because we want to, when we're at home, listen, we're going to be underdogs even at home at times, but we want to be aggressive, we want to be on the front foot, we want to play in a fashion that blew Walsall away like that against Newcastle at home, Villa at home. But to do that, we need the backing of everyone in the stadium as well, and know that, like I said, everyone who crosses that white line are giving everything for you, but they respond when you give everything for them as well. So the message is keep that up, keep that going, get the people at the side of you doing the same thing, and you can have some special nights here. So yeah, long may it continue.
And I guess final message from Patrick.
Yeah, I think last season was very special, not just because we won a couple of trophies, but because we had the football club, the team and the fans perfectly aligned. And I think what Tom Bradshaw said is quite right. We were totally intimidating last season in that second half for other sides to play against us. And I hope we can stay together in the same way through what will be a difficult season, but one where your team will be doing its utmost to represent you well. And look forward to the season. I hope you all have a happy season. I hope we get a good outcome to that season. So thank you for your support. I am a fan at heart. I've always been a fan for the best part of 60 years. It's so fundamentally important to my being that I'm a fan of Bouncy Football Club. And I know that you share that view, and I'd like to thank you for your support. And I would like to say to you at any point in time, if you've got a point of view to represent to the club from the fans' perspective, then do that either through Linton or through myself. And we want to be responsive to our fans, and I think we are pretty unique now, particularly in the Championship. When you look at it, it is very large clubs with parachute payments. It's very strong, financially supported clubs with lots of billionaires, both home billionaires, well actually living in the Channel Islands now, lots of home billionaires, but foreign billionaires too. What we are trying to do through this process is stay close to our fans. So I've been in front of the fans when it's not been quite so good, and it's been a much more difficult evening than this evening, and I've been in front of fans tonight, and it's been a real joy. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, thank you very much indeed for your support. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday here at Oakwell for our visit of Everton. Stick around if you're having a pint. We'll love to have a chat and a pint with everybody. And as you go, look to your right and wave goodbye to that lovely scoreboard. And thank you for coming tonight, and have a safe journey home. See you soon. Thank you.